Hello there fellow NPCs, I am Goblin Scythe, and today we're getting back into Seeds of Chaos. Still got a cold here, but we will continue to play, and let's see here. I am not getting any further in the personal goals I have here with finding out what's up with Greyhide's wine. Instead, I am being harassed is the wrong word here, but very much confronted over and over again by Cleona. One would might think she has a thing for me, but no, I'm just a research subject, obviously. Now, let's see what she wants with me this time as we start week 11. Let's go. I finished this a bit earlier than expected, so I've been doing some preliminary work on some of the other projects in anticipation of your needs. Right, of course. Sometimes I'm amazed at just how much the twins trust you to make the correct choice. Neither of them is willing to assign a research project in your place. Hey, we got breeding pits now, monster taming. I have finished drawing up plans for a facility that will allow for both the breeding and storing of monsters. Currently, our understanding is enough to handle the smaller monsters, such as striders. Those are small monsters? More studies will be needed if we wish to add larger beasts to our forces. I will once again advise caution when using these beasts, as they are difficult to control and very dangerous. It will be wise not to rely on them too extensively. The witch then handed him the list of potential projects, slightly changed from the last time. Slightly changed? Okay, let's see here. And we can't scroll down, so this is what we have. Tools and schematics. Ooh, Bloodsmith's library is likely the most extensive collection of dark knowledge, blah blah. Our research bottleneck comes not from lack of materials or staff, but from your inability to fully test everything we discovered. If we are to start doing any serious work here, we must prepare tools more suitable to our needs. Okay. I was expecting you to say something more about what this means. Silken Smiles. Technology finished diplomas, we have that. We have Tavern. Spy missions. We can upgrade the Tavern and the Brothel, but we don't even have the Brothel yet. So that's not as necessary. Opulence. Minus 10 Cubi Sorceress Maintenance. We don't have Cubis yet. Castle Hall level 2. Oh, Dark Sanctum level 2. History of Rosaria. Unlocked Rosaria Realm Report. Bonus extra options in dialogue. To do. A bonus. 200 XP. Interesting. Rosaria is one of the human realms. Yeah, we know that. Order in Chaos. Orc Barracks level 2. New building unlocked. Ooh. But Oh yeah, new building unlocked, arena, which would allow us for more space and more soldiers, I guess. So I guess we will be needing that. Yeah. It's also pretty quick. A waste of my skill, but a small price to pay for blood me resources. Sorry if this wasn't what you were expecting. You have to make difficult decisions based on both the current situation and our potential future situations. It is not a simple task. We can have a consultation with Alexia. Okay. Who needs consultation? Oh. Okay. Scordred, look, I share your concerns about the sanitary regime within the castle, but it's not a problem I can fix either on my own or within a week's span. But we talked to the twins about it. You wanted to see me there? Finally, and no, not me exactly, but... He pointed to the dwarf on his right. Before them lay the castle latest blueprints, heavily drawn over, with scribbles on every corner, result of countless hours of work. Pointless work. Lady Alexia, terribly sorry to bother you, but I had hoped you would share with us some of your womanly insight. Scordred believes we will need a nursery. He rubbed his eyes, trying to keep the irritation out of his voice. Scourger was all about oblivious to that, and instead regarded Alexia with a wide smile. Indeed, for centuries the castle was forced to be rebuilt after each failed invasion. Kara's chosen slain by the Solansian bastards, but never again. Masters are here to finish what Karen started, and the children will carry Karos as well into a new era. The twins will start a dynasty that will last 1,000 years. And you want to make sure the castle is prepared for it. That's very thoughtful of you, Scourger. Maybe so, but it's not exactly our priority concern at the moment. Of course, but it doesn't hurt to plan when there's still time. World conquest can wait for one afternoon. Rowan watched as his wife accepted the plans for the dwarf, smiling graciously. At first she was slightly confused at the technical drawings, not something he could blame her for, until Scourger laid down the basics. You're not honestly planning to keep the kids on the ground, and right under the barracks. Yet twins' heirs are going to be the castle's most precious treasure. They must be well protected. I really hope you're saying, not saying that twins are gonna have kids together. We'll see about that. They are bound to be prime targets for all kinds of assassins and troublemakers. But that doesn't mean you can just lock them in some dark mossy vault. The kids will need fresh air and sun. And constant attention. We probably want somewhere Ysera wouldn't complain about when passing through to see her kids. Rowan coughed violently, trying to conceal his laughter. Somehow he managed to earn disapproving glances from not only Scourger but his wife as well. I apologize, I just find it hard to imagine Ysera as a mother. I mean, he made a vague motion with his hand. It was hard to mention just one thing, from the controlling attitude to the borderline sadistic personality. She might be a bit of a strict parent, but we can't be 100% certain she'd be a bad one. Motherhood is a wonderful thing. It is one thing to conquer the world, another to bring life into it. If you say so. Now, about the nursery. He thought to argue, but knew better than that. Instead, he had them all study the map again, in yet another attempt to find a perfect spot for the future nursery. In the end, they settled on a small room in the northern side of the castle, on the second floor. Scourger hummed for a long half a minute as he considered it, then finally gave the idea his blessings. Aye, that will work. And it's close to your home as well, if you two ever decide on having kids yourself. The thought made him shiver, the amount of control the twins would have over them. We've been trying for 8 years and running, so here's to hoping. Really? Tried for 8 years? We'll see who fucks up first, huh? Because they've both been... no, wait. Alexia hasn't been with Andras at all. So, if any of the girls gets pregnant, she might be the problem. That's unfortunate. Once the nursery is ready, she had to bring the subject up with Ysera, or that pissy lackey of hers. Maybe they got some magic that can help you here. I'll keep that in mind, Scourger. Thank you. Thank you. Can you believe a climbing wanted a consultation fee for this? turns the castle into a personal pit stop, then still ask for more. The nerve on that woman. I'll run this through the message, Rowan. Let's meet again in an hour or so. Of course. The dwarf hurried out to the room, clutching the plans. Alexia chuckled and beamed at her husband. I wasn't aware I could charge for this. No wonder Clamins is the one running the caravans. Alexia. I know. She cut him short. She was no longer looking at him, rather through him, staring into the distance with that sad smile he saw on her face from time to time. It's just harmless talk. I know what a disaster it would be for us to have a baby right now. You don't need to tell me. But I don't think we have to worry about it. After 8 years, I'm not exactly keeping my hopes up. It's just nice to fantasize sometimes at what could be. Hold her, she needs to be strong. They have no room for pointless fantasies. She must be strong. Jesus! He reached through the table, and held her hands reassuringly. Thrust into the whirlwind of events, he sometimes forgot just how much his wife had lost, and how long she had been in the castle. It won't always be like this, but we have to focus on what's important at the moment. Of course. They stayed like that for a while. A moment later she started to pull away. Her sad smile didn't change one bit. Maybe next year. Maybe next year. Don't let me keep you, Rowan. I know you have a lot of work. Just don't stay late, alright? I won't. I promise. She gave him a quick kiss on the cheek, then hurried out of the room without another word. Alexia walked through the corridors briskly, trying to ignore the aching in her heart. Rowan Blackwell, the most talented tracker in all the 6 kingdoms, sometimes blind as a bat, most agonizingly often when it came to her. As if it wasn't bad enough that the Goblin kept flaunting her tits, hips and kids around him. It was always like that. Rowan simply didn't care, even back in Arthdale. Oh, she can't say he hasn't tried, but whenever she tried to bring up the topic of kids, the discussion always just petered out. She was always the one making the effort, always talking to the village wise women, always consulting the abbots, always checking with the traders to see if they carry some herbs that might help, year after another. All for naught. Lady Blackwell. A contingent of orcs went through, bowing their heads to her. She smiled nervously, pressing herself against the castle wall to give them some room. Her hand went to her chest, and she brushes the blue amulet hanging from her neck. Year after year, all for naught, and now she was here. There's always time, no? That's what she used to tell herself. There's still time. There's no reason to hurry. She laughed and wiped away the tears. There was always time, until there wasn't. Check the nursery site, retire for the evening. She tortured herself enough. Check the nursery site? How tortured can she get? Yeah, that sounded bad. She wasn't sure what masochistic need made her turn her steps to the nursery site, but she did regardless, paying no mind to the castle staff she passed by. Compromises. That's how the location was picked. It was a small, currently unused room, full of old furniture, far away from the orcs, far away from all the action, with only a single corridor leading to it. Close enough to reach the battlements in the castle courtyard in times of peace, remote enough to prevent potential assassins wandering about in disguise, and nearby both of the twins' rooms in case they wanted to drop by. She had to agree with Rowan. That didn't seem probable. Making plans, Alexia? What is it with people sneaking up on me today? I'm not in the mood. And here I was under the impression that an unexpected surprise is exactly what you were hoping for. Like a hawk, Andras circled around her, his eyes shamelessly wandering from her belly to her chest. She scoffed in response. I didn't take Scotted for a telltale. Rightly so, but the castle is the only child he will ever have, so he lacks certain sensibilities. I see. And what's your excuse? I don't give a shit about what people think. He walked into the room, pushing past her. He ran his fingers over the dusty surface of one of the tables, then shook his hand. Charming. Then I suppose I should redouble my effort in making sure it's full of screaming kids. If you want, but this place is nowhere near ready. No, it's not. But why wait? He ordered her to walk inside, and she followed, suddenly unsure of herself at the sight of his smile. Planning, preparing, pointless bullshit. All that needlessly convoluted crap is my sister's domain. I don't wait. I take what I want. You had no trouble playing the gentleman captain when you first brought me here. Because I wanted you. And I wanted you willing. He grabbed her by the chin and made her look into his eyes as she came near. She stood unmoved, meeting his gaze defiantly. When I want something, I work for it tirelessly without rest and without restraint. It always has to be about you, doesn't it? And just like that, he let her go, taking a step back, arms wide. You're right. How awful inconsiderate of me. Then let's make it about you. About what you want. About what you desire. I don't. No! Enough of that. You sound just like your husband. Don't do that. It's not right. Stop and think for a moment. Always waiting, always questioning, always hesitating. Humor me here. For once in your life, at least say what you want. She didn't know if she was more insulted or hurt when he pointed his finger at her accusingly. In Andras' world, everything was always so simple. I must have felt to be part of it. What is it she wants though? Is it that she wants a baby or for him to give her a baby? I want to have kids. What's that? I didn't hear you. I want to have kids. I'm a healthy woman in my prime and I want to have kids. And it's not wrong or unreasonable or selfish of me. But it is selfish. Oh. Like a snake, he was suddenly right next to her, his hands on her hips, whispering into her ear. It's what you want, not what Rowan wants. If he did, he'd do something about it. And do you still want it? Yes, even if it is selfish. I have the right to be selfish from time to time. And Rowan would be a good father. He's been a lousy husband so far. His hand felt like burning iron. Why has she not yet pushed it away? And it doesn't have to be the father. Something hard pressed against her backside. She jumped away instantly, holding her hands to her chest like an invisible shield. She watched Andras grin at her. He spread his arms wide open. If it were up to me, this place would hold nothing but your kids, Alexia. You are woefully misinterpreting my words. Maybe. Just remember, my doors are always open. Think about it. And he left just like that, leaving her alone in an empty room that one day might house their children. Hers and Rowan's, Andras and... she wasn't sure. Woo! That was one hell of a start. Still level 1. Halfway to level 2. Damn it. That's a lot of things you need to do. Yeah, she just started that. Nothing with you. We have some treasury. Good. Dark Sanctum. No prerequisites. Incubus and Succubus capacity 10. Weekly recruitment 1. Military strength force once filled 90. Good. Weekly maintenance 30. We're gonna need some more money. Multiplier auxiliary military strength 50%. Damn. Here we go. And now the And we are broke. Nothing there. But it said added income 30! Yay! Oh, show. Damn, that's a lot of events. I love it. Yeah, sure. There, done. The hero let out a long sigh of relief. He was finished his duties for the day and would have the evening off before he had to go out again on his weekly scouting mission. He might still do some last minute decision for construction and purchases, but the stuff that actually took up his time was done. Rowan, how nice to see you're finished in time for a little dinner I've been putting together for you. No, you've been hiding behind that pillar for almost an hour waiting for me to finish. Oh, don't be silly! Why would I ever do that? You also tried to catch me for breakfast and then lunch. You've been trying all day to get me to come to this family dinner. How? I thought... Well, if you hadn't seen through a trick like that, I suppose you wouldn't be much of a hero for my people, would you? Still, I do hope that you'll grace us with your sly presence. I really did put a lot of work into it, just for you. Rowan rose from his work table, looking somewhat exasperated but also smiling. Alright, let's go meet your family. The Goblin matriarch bounded up to him excitedly and grabbed his hand. So, bloop. She tried to drag him back to her caravan, but the difference in size and weight meant that in the end she was forced to just lead. Even before they got in, the smell of roasted meat and potatoes was quite strong and many voices could be heard chattering away excitedly. In spite of the circumstances, the man felt his stomach growl in anticipation. As Rowan was ushered inside the wagon, he found he had to stoop slightly to avoid banging his head on the ceiling. Made sense, goblins didn't need as much headspace as humans. What was more surprising was the number of them crowded around the table. Bit of a goatish look here. Hey everyone, may I present you the great hero Rowan, and to you Rowan. We are all so happy to welcome you this evening to meet you and let you sample true goblin hospitality. She swept her arms wide around the table as the gathered crowded in and jostled against one another. Almost everyone was as excited as Exclamin herself had been the first day she met Rowan. The excitement was plain on her face too, plus what looked like a triumphant smirk. There were a dozen of them of various ages. Excited whispering broke out among them while the hero was led to a cushion on the floor. The rest of them were sitting on a small chair, but the table was too low for a human to sit on one of those comfortably. Okay. Take a seat here, right next to me and my dear twin brother, Klabau. She indicated the goblin with an easygoing air and a rather simple shirt. As Rowan sat down, he noticed a glint in the goblin's eye, just before it turned into an altogether different kind of smile. Ooh. Don't underestimate him. He is really good at looking like he isn't any trouble, but he definitely is. Gotta say, kinda like these two girls. A bit more. Than any of these guys, of course. Back there is my pa, Class T. He led us all for many years before me, but he isn't as quick as he once was, so he passed the reins on to me. But don't think for a moment I can still match my wits with my beautiful eldest girl. The old goblin chuckled mirthfully and nodded in appreciation to his daughter. Then we have my younger brother Classel. He is actually a single-born child, if you believe it. Great with the animals, but both driving them and cooking them. In response, he raised up a leg of meat and liberally dribbling some kind of gravy. Don't take Sis's word, try it for yourself. We got a lot for everyone. Yes, it looks good. I take it you cooked a lot today then. His grin faltered slightly and signs of fatigue crept in, but he kept a smile on his face. Next we have my younger sister Clacelle and Clatre. Inseparable, good at chest work and needles. I can see the chest work at progress there, yeah. Need someone to work on your clothes? They're your girls. The two pink-haired girls in matching dresses didn't say anything, but one ran a bit of food around her lips, while the other pulled open her blouse even further than it already was, and waved her hand as if she were a heart. Whee! A lot of goblins here. Gonna be quite a party, I guess. But as wonderful as my siblings are, the best bundles of joy here are my kids. Those two rambunctious rascals are Clasty and Clatard. Pleased to meet the hero. We got us our best brew for the occasion. Hey, watch it, Todd. The two boys had been drinking when the Roman came in, and while they'd stopped just for a moment to look at the new arrival, but they were pretty tipsy already and quickly got distracted. However, it was the girl next to them that caught Rowan's eye. And of course we have my darling daughter, Clamin, which has the same name as you. So your daughter has the same name as you. Well, yes, it's a really common name. There's three of us at the table. Sty was named after my father and Todd for his. If you have trouble keeping them apart, just call her Min and we'll know who you're talking to. The moment that Rowan locked eyes with Min again, she stretched her arms out on the table to emphasize her chest. Oh, okay. Then poked her tongue into her cheek with a sultry look in her eyes. It seemed like all the women here wanted him. She is very gifted with her mouth, so I've been teaching her everything I know. Yeah, goblins is that kind of species, huh? Next were two notably smaller goblins, wearing robes far too big for them. Those two there are my youngest twins, Clakes and Klalish. She faltered slightly. Klalish had taken advantage of how distracted everyone was and helped himself to the feast, while his brother made fun of him with a pair of fingers behind his heads. These two made Rowan chuckle. Here were boys being boys, no different from humans. Lish? Klalish! Oh, hi there. Realizing him being caught, he put the leg back down with a guilty look to his mother, then whipped a trickle of sauce off the sleeve of his shirt. A white sleeve. Clamin winced slightly, but moved on to the last two of the table. Here we have Vertad, adopted fully into our family and the father to many of my children. Vertad waved his hands above his head in a salute of sorts. The goblin's armor marked him as a warrior if Rowan's eyes didn't mistake him, and he returned the gesture from one fighter to another. Lastly is Vermin, Vertad's sister, and she'll be joining us as guest this evening. Like the other women, the third Min at this table had a smoldering look in her eyes, and she had climbed halfway onto the table to show off her cleavage to Rowan. It actually can't be seen here. Did they just fail to draw in the cleavage here? Yeah, I think they did. That's unfortunate. Unlike the others though, Clamin gave a frown to her sister-in-law who shrugged in response. Oh no, wait, is that just... That's the one boob, and the other one continues behind her head here. The two looked fairly different from the rest of the goblins, different skin tones and face shapes. Rowan swept his eyes across everyone at the table again, taking in a dozen new smiling faces filled with adoration at their sneaky sly hero of deception and trickery. It's good to meet you all. Welcome again, Rowan. Everyone at the table exploded into conversation all at once, drowning almost everything out. Some of the siblings were talking to one another, others were trying to address Rowan. The matriarch clapped her hands together to silence everyone. Hold on, quiet. Boys, please bring out the rest of the food. Let's show our guests a good time. Her 4 sons plus her younger brother quickly jumped up and rushed out of the room. They returned shortly afterwards with steaming pots and placed them on the table, more than doubling the amount of food being served. As I said, I know that the goblins are what kind of race goblins are in this game now, but I do not like him biting at my shirt like that. That's creepy behavior. Damn, boy! The meal served was roasted meat, potatoes and nuts. For the most part game and forage, but some of it obviously would have been traded for. Goblins could eat most things, but they really liked meat with bite-sized bones and anything that had a good crunch to it. They were also fond of fresh blood, which was also served, probably from the same animals that supplied the meat. The Rowan passed on that. At first the Rowan was the only one that anyone wanted to hear about. The family here wanted to hear all about their heroes' goblin-like traits, famous tricks and feats of dexterity for the most part. It was interesting to learn which parts of his tales were the most famous from their perspective. He just wished they didn't get annoyed at him every time he mentioned anything that sounded heroic or honorable. This audience didn't like to hear that their ideal trickster had a goody-two-shoes human scum side to him. So that's what they want me to focus on, I guess, when I level up. Eventually the group shifted to small talk and several smaller conversations sprang up around the table. For the most part they discussed either the food or the latest trading operations, before being pulled into one such talk himself. Rowan noted that these caravanners had been putting their access to Ysera's portals to good use. Min was the only one at the table that didn't seem to have anything to say, always looking down shyly and only raising her head to steal glances at Rowan when she thought he wasn't looking at her. Yeah, Min, not Clamin, Min. That girl almost had a crush on him, the hero was fairly certain, but then he got distracted by her mother. So what do you think of my little family? They're a lively bunch. I haven't seen too many goblin families before, but this does feel like a home. For all you talk about schemes and tricks, you all just trust and love one another. The matriarch puffed up with an air of pride about her. Yes, family is a wonderful thing. It's one thing that we caravanners have learned about from the other races. I wouldn't trade any of my children or relatives here for anyone. She took Rowan's right hand, making him glance down in surprise. When he looked back up, he saw that she was giving him a very meaningful look. There's a place for you here too, if you'll join us. We goblins don't practice monogamy, you see, and are quite willing to invite anyone into our ranks. Clabo, the goblin on his left, also made his interest in Rowan quite obvious, taking his hand. Trapped between the two, with both hands held, one final shock was given as someone started to undo Rowan's pants. Oh. He scanned downwards and discovered the shy goblin girl Min was currently working at his pants with a look of reverence and her tongue hanging out. Was she about to... Wait. Had this entire dinner been a setup for this? If the family's okay with it, we might go for it, I guess. So we are gonna get some sloppy hair from our goblin girl. So I will see you guys real soon. And we're back. And if you want to see how that thing, what happened there, you have to go over to SpicyGaming.net and see the uncensored video. But yeah, let's continue. What do you think, Rowan? Will you join the Claw family? I'll make certain that you never regret it. Wait, no, I have a family. Alexia is. She can join too. It's not a problem at all, just as long as she doesn't hog you all to herself. Rowan only frowned and pulled back, trying to collect himself. I am worried if I have to make a choice here. However, the goblin didn't seem to be taken back at all, instead smiling conspiratorially. It's fine if you need a little time before you make the jump. It's a big life choice after all. Just remember that your goblin family is here, waiting for you. The conversation seemed to just end there, leaving Rowan feeling somewhat overwhelmed. This was, without a doubt, the strangest way of securing a mate he'd ever encountered. The rest of the evening was blessedly uneventful. While this was by no means a standard meal by human standards, Rowan had dined at the tables of many different races and was reasonably comfortable with unusual hosts or guests. Eventually he excused himself and left the wagon to a chorus of happy goodbyes and questions of when he'd be joining them again. He took with him a bowl of deep-fried potato wedges, intended to share some of the crispy things with Alexia. The thing he was most happy to leave behind was the annoying grinding sounds from goblins and gnawing on bones. Just thinking about it made him shudder. That was one thing that would be haunting his nightmares from now on. But yeah, it's gonna be fun to see if we can explain that to Alexia, or if that's something that will be explained at all. Nope, nothing to explain. Let's see if we have anything else here. No. We're ready to fight. What's our score? 150. We are ready to fight. Good. But that is not what we're doing right now. Right? Or maybe, perhaps. We'll see. Anyway, that is it for today's episode. That's a lot of stuff happening. Yeah. That goblin finally got what she wanted. Oh, right, if I remember correctly. Yeah, exactly. Get a blowjob from Clawmin started this is never going away now. You can always go here and get some glop glop from Min. So yeah. As I said, that's it for today's episode. So thank you guys for watching. And thank you Joseph for donating directly to my Ko-fi page. If you guys want to help me out, you can do so by clicking the link down in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one. And remember, just because you're not the main character, it does not mean you're not important. Goodbye everyone.